Hi everyone, we're here today for the next episode of Student Athlete Success, and we've a special guest, former Northeastern women's hockey star, Chelsey Goldberg. It's great seeing you again, Chelsey. How are you?
Hey, it's so good to hear from you. Honestly, it's been a while, but
I
I'm
know.
pumped about this.
Yeah, it was good to see you again there. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah, a little reunion. I
Yeah,
love it.
if only you had your pup there as well.
Oh, I know, little cowboy, he loves you.
So you grew up in Southern California. Tell us about life there. That must have been an absolute dream of a place to live and grow up.
Yeah, so honestly, I think that I took it for granted for the majority of my life just because I didn't really know better, right? Like that was my lifestyle. And then um obviously we're going to cover this a little bit later, but when I moved back east, that's when I really realized what a great spot California was to grow up in and live in. But life out there is just so much different than the East Coast. Obviously, the weather is 10 times nicer, warmer. I'm such a California girl when it comes to weather. I can't do the cold, so weather's beautiful year round. Sunny and 75 is pretty much the California motto. Like every day is a nice beach day out there. I vibe with the people really, really well out there. Everyone's just kind of at a different pace, so
Yeah,
a lot
everyone's so
slower.
chilled out.
Yeah, like not everyone's not in a rush where I feel like in Boston, everyone just has somewhere to be at the fastest time they can get. So it's a little different as far as the pace of life.
Yeah.
Um, and also the sports are different too. I grew up playing the typical California sports, soccer, swim, lacrosse. Um, those were like the main sports that I could uh, play, I guess, out there. And then hockey came along, but that was kind of a rare sport for a Southern California girl, even guy at
Yeah,
that time.
yeah, that's like I was going to go at that point as well. Like, so, but like growing up in Southern California, everyone's like so chilled out. Like, that's why I think a lot of the big names go there. Are your family not friends with the Jenners as well?
Yeah, so that's kind of a story for another time. But basically, my father has an automotive business out there in the valley, and um, the Kardashians are his customers. Yes, they are. And Caitlyn Jenner, obviously known as Bruce Jenner before, is one of my dad's long time customers. So very loyal customers. He was actually featured on their show at one point, which was super cool.
Your dad's more famous than
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. My dad's just a G. He's awesome. He's such a great guy. He knows how to run a business. He's such a people person, and I think the coolest thing about my dad is he doesn't really know who a lot of famous people are, even though we live in California and they're pretty much everywhere. So he treats everyone as just another human, and I think that's something that they respect back from him is just like the ability to have a normal conversation and not get all googly eyed over the fact that Kim Kardashian is in the shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So obviously you mentioned it there, like started playing hockey in California. How did that all come about? Like it's not obviously something everyone does over there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. And the way my brother, so I grew up playing with the boys, and the way that we started playing was um, my twin brother and I had this group of friends, and they all started getting rollerblades. So they got rollerblades, so we were like, all right, we're gonna get rollerblades. So we got rollerblades too, and then we just started messing around playing some roller hockey. Nothing serious at all. We didn't really know much about it at that time. So it was an outdoor rink that we started playing on, and being California, the temperature would get past 100 degrees. So I remember it was like 118 one day, and it's just like not safe to be playing in that type of heat. So at that point in time, we were like, we had been playing roller for a couple of years, and then given the heat situation, we were like, maybe ice hockey would be kind of fun to try out, a
Yeah.
little different and obviously cooler. So we switched to ice hockey, and still same thing, didn't know much about it, but was just playing for fun with our friends. So we were playing just like the in-house league, and the coaches at the time saw my brother and I's potential, and they were like, you guys should really try to pursue something special here. And again, we knew nothing about it. And my mom was a swimmer. My dad didn't really play many sports. He's been working at the family business since he was 13. But so we had no idea what, I guess, college hockey really meant.
Yeah.
But we kind of took that statement from our in-house coach and ran with it. So we ended up switching from in-house to kind of a travel league, which was more competitive. And again, I continued playing with the boys all the way up until I was, maybe 16. And then I got a couple of bad concussions, and that's when I switched over, because I was like, you know what, it's not worth it for me to keep getting hit like this when there's an opportunity to play with the girls. So at that point in time, I switched over to play girls, and from there, I just found that my opportunities kind of kept coming, obviously with hard work. But my brother and I definitely had a knack for hockey, and we kind of just ran with it, and we both ended up playing college hockey in the end, which was super exciting.
Yeah, so obviously that was probably the first time you kind of fell in love with hockey.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we always had fun playing, and for me, playing with the guys as a female was so cool. I know a lot of girls that I grew up playing with and against, they actually also had similar experiences playing with the guys until a certain age. But until you actually play with that level of competition, like, it's so cool. It's such a fast-paced game. Obviously, everyone's there for the same reason, to have fun, play the game they love. So I definitely started to fall in love with the game when I realized I definitely had the potential to make it to college. Once I obviously started educating myself about college hockey and the process and whatnot. But it was really then when I was like, you know what, I have the opportunity to do this and make it a reality.
Yeah, because you played lacrosse in high school as well, and then you were also playing like hockey at the North American Academy. Like, tell us about your experiences there.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was a soccer player, swimmer, lacrosse player, dabbled with some water polo, typical California sports. But my twin brother also played lacrosse in high school as well. So we kind of played the same sports back and forth. But lacrosse was very similar to hockey in different ways. I wish I could have played with the guys on the lacrosse team, but they made me play girls. But similar but different game. And playing in high school, it was a lot of fun, because obviously I was playing with my friends back in California, and it was more low key and relaxed than hockey. Hockey for me was definitely the way more competitive sport that I was choosing. So being able to play lacrosse, I was still really good at it, but it was kind of more of a relaxing outlet at the same time. So I played lacrosse, swim in high school, and then for the hockey season, I actually went to play in Vermont at North American Hockey Academy. So I would start at my public school in California, and then play the hockey season in Vermont, in Still Vermont, and then I would finish back in my public school in California. So super cool experience. I'm really fortunate that I was able to do that, because I kind of got the best. I got the best of both worlds in a way. I was able to obviously start the school year with all my best friends in California, and then kind of go away for an extended business trip to Vermont, and then end back with my friends in California. So
yeah, going
that
coast
was
to
a
coast.
really cool experience.
So obviously you ended up at Northeastern, like from the experiences there. What other schools were you looking at during the recruitment period?
So I knew, so just playing in Vermont, we would play in Boston quite frequently. And every single time we played in Boston, I realized how much I loved the city. So at that point in time, I was like, I was probably a sophomore in high school. And obviously at that point in time, my ideas of college hockey were becoming a reality. So as I was thinking about that, I'm like, where would I want to be going to college and whatnot? And Boston just seemed so perfect for me, and I fell in love with it every single time we played there in high school. So I started with a big list and then ended up narrowing it down to every Boston school, I would say. So Harvard, BC, BU, and Northeastern actually were my top four, with a few other schools in the
Yeah.
mix as well. But I was confident that I was going to end up playing for a school in Boston.
So
So
what ended up being the decisive factor then to go to Northeastern if you had all the other schools around the city?
yeah, so I took an official visit to every school, and every school provided me with something so different, and that's what was so cool about the recruiting process, was you got to learn so much about the schools, the coaches, the teams, facilities, uniforms, like all those factors actually play a role in the deciding decision as far as where you want to go to college. So I took into account everything that I just mentioned: uniforms, city, school, campus, coaches, locker room, team, culture, all of that. And at the end of the day, when I visited Northeastern, I just felt, they tell you feel right when you walk
Yeah.
onto a college campus and you get that feeling. And Northeastern just felt right for me.
Did you
So
think that the uniform was going to make you look good? Was that the main decisive factor?
yeah, I mean, those uniforms were so good looking. Like, how can you not, right? But but yeah, no. So I mean, I don't know if you've ever been into the locker rooms in Matthews, but they are beautiful. And so I fell in love with the fact that Northeastern is a city, technically a city campus, right? I guess you could
Yeah.
say, or city school. But the coolest thing about it was that we have our own campus within. And not a lot of people know that, but that's why you have to visit the school. And so when I visited, I was like, this is amazing, because it had its own campusy feel to it, even though we were
Yeah.
in the middle of the city. So I also knew a few of the upperclassmen that were on the team from California. So they definitely helped in persuading my decision, just because I know they had a great experience at Northeastern and loved everything about it. So
Hmm.
when I finally got to explore the campus a little bit and meet everyone, I was like, this is where I belong. So the facilities were one of the biggest factors in my decision. They're just absolutely incredible. And obviously the support that we get was amazing. So
Yeah, so you came in after starring as captain of the North American Academy under-19 team with a 74-8-6 record. What were you expecting from that first year of college hockey?
um, that's a great question. I was really, really excited. So um, long story short, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually broke both of my legs playing hockey in high school. So I broke both of my legs playing at North American Hockey Academy, almost a year apart to the day.
Yeah.
And that was probably a couple of the most difficult years of my life, just because I I worked really, really hard growing up, and I was where I was just based on my work ethic um, and my dedication to the game. And I know I had great potential, and I was there. And I had actually committed to Northeastern before that point. So going into my junior year, I had already committed to Northeastern. So that was kind of a huge weight off my back, right? And then I had junior and senior year at North American Hockey Academy to obviously perform, but deciding on playing a college sport is a stressful decision at times, and a
Yeah.
weight on your back. So that was definitely a weight lifted. And then having a great year, was one of the captains, and then I broke my first leg in the winter of my junior year, and I was like, that was the first major injury, aside from the couple concussions that I had with the guys. It was the
Hmm.
first major injury that I faced, and it definitely threw me off a little bit. But I've always had the mentality, like, everything happens for a reason. That's been my motto for the longest time in my life. And
Yeah.
so I was like, there's a reason this is happening. Maybe I was burnt out. Maybe I was tired. I didn't know, but I kind of took that as a sign and just kind of tried to make the most of it and think positively along the way. So I was out for 6 months, and every day was a grind. Obviously, the recovery took a little longer than expected, but as I was training and recovering to not only get back to where I was, but then to excel even more, it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty tough. But I overcame that first broken leg after 6 months, and went back to Naha for my senior year, and again, was having a great start to the year, and then almost a year to the day. So my first leg I broke in January, and my end of January, and my second broken leg, both the same bone. So I broke both fibulas. First year was the right one. Second year, almost to the day. It was like maybe 2 days later.
Yeah, that must have been an absolute nightmare for you as well. Like thinking about like when you were coming in as a freshman, like would that impact you and stuff? But you did come in
Yeah.
and make 18 appearances that freshman year for Northeastern. Like how did that make you feel, like managing to overcome the two broken legs?
Yeah. So back to your previous question about my feelings going into freshman year, I was super excited because after I had recovered fully from the second broken leg with the five screws and a plate in my leg, I was like, I overcame that one too. And so I was like ready for another fresh start. I was like, I'm ready to go. I'm stronger and in better shape than ever, just
Yeah,
because I worked so hard to get back to that point again. So I was so excited. I'm like, this is amazing. I was ready to meet everyone. And obviously, like I said, I had a few friends on the team already. So it was super exciting. And I get there and play 18 games, which is unbelievable. Obviously, we had a very, very good team, and we had 9 incoming freshmen in my class, and one of them was Kendall Coyne. And I think I just have to note that she is one of the most most amazing teammates that I've ever had the opportunity to play
hey,
with.
you're
So,
stealing my questions here. She's
I mean, it all blends together, you know. But
yeah,
yeah, so playing 18 games was great. But then still, what a lot of people don't know is I actually got mono really, really bad my freshman year. So after those 18 games, I actually had to fly home to California because I was so sick. So I lost the rest of that season.
mhm.
And then again, I recover, come back. Sophomore year, the left leg that I had the hardware put in was acting up, so I had to get that removed. And so I lost my sophomore year as well due to injuries. And then so my junior year of college was really my first year playing a full season in 4 years. And it was really cool. My family all flew out. My first game back, my junior year, I ended up scoring 2 shorthanded goals, which was a really, really cool experience. So it was all worth it in the end, and I wouldn't change anything for the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, you mentioned there your sophomore year got cut short, obviously because of the injuries, but you did win the Beanpot that year. That must have been a great experience making your mark on Northeastern history.
Oh, for sure. For those that don't know what the Beanpot is, it's a little tournament that we play amongst all the Boston teams. So BU, Northeastern, BC, and Harvard. We all come together in February, and Beanpot Tuesday. So women's Beanpot is played at a different women's rink. Every single year it rotates. And we actually won the Beanpot that year at BU. I think it was. My sophomore year was at BU, I'm pretty sure. We won it, and it was one of the coolest experiences playing for a university in Boston and winning the Beanpot. Such a cool honor, and obviously you get the bragging rights. So I'm definitely super stoked I was able to experience that.
Hmm. And you did mention earlier about playing like people, especially like players like Kendall Coyne. Like, was she the one that impressed you the most, and what was it that made her stand out?
Um, I would say that every single one of my teammates had an impact on me in some way or another. So while Kendall is definitely one of the best players that I've ever had the opportunity to play with and call my teammate and friend and captain. Um, she her work ethic is just incredible. She is one of the most dedicated players that I've ever played with. And she makes everyone around her better. And I think that's one of the biggest factors about her is every single day at practice, she'll push you to that next level. So the amount of respect I have for that is just beyond. But obviously, like I said, every single one of my teammates impacted me in one way or another. So they all made me a better teammate on and off the ice. Whether it was just being a good teammate, pumping you up, cheering you on, supporting you when you're going through adversity like that, pushing you on the ice to be the best player that you can be. So everyone played a different role in my time at Northeastern, and I think that's what made it so special.
Yeah, you shared a locker room with a great bunch of girls. Like, what kind of things did you get up to, like away from hockey, that people might not know about?
Ooh, away from hockey.
Yeah, you can tell the stories here. Spill the beans.
I mean, I don't know if I want to I don't know if I want to spill the beans live or not, but no, I mean, you're a college athlete too, and I know you guys got up to no good as well. But we girls girls have a funny way of entertaining themselves. Obviously, everyone does. I know every team is different, but when you put a group of however many girls in a locker room or the same room, there's just so many minds working together to come up with some fun and entertainment. So um, every day in the locker room was a fun time, and every weekend was something different. So too many memories. But if you wanna chat with me about them, we can take this off the podcast.
So obviously, then after your great time at Northeastern, you went on to play three seasons in the pros so far with the Boston Blades, who are now the Worcester Blades. How did that opportunity first present itself?
Great question. So just based on my adversity that I faced with the injuries, the mono, and that second surgery to get the hardware out, I was mentally it was mentally a few of the hardest years of my life. So I was pretty drained by that point. Obviously, though, you have Northeastern is the 5-year school, so we had the co-op program, which I was fortunate enough to take advantage of because I had an injury. I had to get surgery on my broken leg. So my coach actually let me take advantage of that co-op program, which then gave me a 5th year. And so I actually had that 5th year without hockey. And I'm not going to lie, it was one of the best years of my life, just being able to get that college student experience without the sport component.
Yeah,
Obviously, hockey's been my life, but as a college athlete, it's your job. It really is your job when you're there on campus for 4
yeah.
years, 5
From the
years, however
first,
long you may be.
yeah, from the
So
first time you wake up in the morning till you go to sleep at night, like it's nonstop.
yeah, it's nonstop. That's your job. So having that 5th year without hockey, just being able to focus on school and my social life again, it was absolutely incredible. And I I think it also at the same time made me realize how much I did miss the game and how much I did miss having that family. College, any sports, high school, growing up, college sports, you develop that family, right? In the locker room, on your team, your teammates, your brothers, your sisters, they're all family. And I miss that family component. I miss that I just missed having that locker room environment again. And so I took that year off of hockey, and I realized, you know what, I think I'm ready to play again. And at that point in time, it was like I had missed 4 years of playing essentially. And I wanted another chance to get back to where I was before and have fun playing the game that I fell in love with again. So the professional coach actually reached out to me. He recruited me. He was recruiting me to go to UNH at the prior to Northeastern. So he knew who I was, and he actually reached out to me and was like, "Hey, just want to let you know we have a couple of spots left on our team. I'd love it if you would consider playing again. Think about it, take some time, and give me a call." So I thought about it long and hard. I really did, because at that point I was like, I'm graduating soon. Am I meant to go back to California? You know, what's my next chapter? And so I thought about it long and hard, but I missed that team environment again, and I missed the game of hockey, obviously. So called him up, and I was like, I'm ready. Like, let's do this. So the first year playing pro was, and I had a ton of friends that were on the team already, and they had nothing but good things to say about it. So they helped influence that decision for sure. But first year pro was so much fun. It was easily one of the best years of hockey that I had, just because it was fun again, you know, like I wasn't injured. I was having the time of my life with some of my best friends. And we were playing against some of the top talent in the whole world, you know, and definitely across North America. But it was the most competitive hockey that I've ever had the chance to play.
Yeah, it must have been like getting that kind of work rate back again, and that like first thing in the morning, that's the first thing you think about, and then go to bed thinking about it as well. It must have been great to have that feeling back again.
It was definitely a super cool feeling. The only difference though is unfortunately the professional women's game is so different than the men's professional game. So while we actually had a breakthrough and eventually did end up getting paid to play, which was also a very cool feeling, it's very different in the sense that we all have to work full-time jobs at the same time to support ourselves. So you would go through your whole work day, and then you'd have practice, and then the weekends are similar. You look forward to the game days, right? So come Friday, come Saturday, you're stoked about going to Toronto to play, going to Calgary to play, going to China for a couple weeks. So I think that's what made it so fun is you really looked forward to the weekends of game days again.
Yeah, so obviously, like, you've been looking forward to that. You've just had surgery there. Like, what are your next moves then in terms of like playing hockey?
So for all those that aren't really in tune with women's hockey, we're at a point right now where we are fighting for equality as far as a more sustainable league. So I was in the Canadian Professional League for 3 years, and I'm now part of the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association, which is fighting for a more sustainable league so that we can play the game of hockey as our jobs, and so that young girls have the dream of playing professional hockey, and there will be a league for them to play in post-college, training for the Olympics, whatever it may be, there will be a league to play in. So that's kind of what we're fighting for right now. So I am a member of that, and I'm still playing. So I re-signed with them this year, so I'll be playing with them again. And yeah, I just take it. I don't really want to look too much ahead into the future, so I take it day by day, season by season. But I'm having the most fun playing at the highest level that I can. It's just such a cool opportunity, seriously, playing with the top talent in the world every single weekend or every single week, whatever it may be. So as of right now, that's what I'm doing, and I don't plan to stop right now.
Yeah, and that's like the thing. You're making a difference and inspiring like young women across like the world to try and play hockey and pursue their dreams there. And that's probably one of the reasons as well that you were inducted into the Southern California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. How did that moment feel? That must have been such a proud moment for you and your family.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely enjoy taking my adversity and my difficulties and hardships and turning it into the positive. And I want to help as many people as I can, who might be going through similar situations or completely different, but that just want to chat and want to pick my brain. So I'm always trying to help out, make a difference with the future generations or with anyone in life. But um, to be inducted into the Jewish Hall of Fame was such a cool. It sounds so silly, but it was such a cool experience, and my family members and a few of my best friends actually flew out to the ceremony as well. So it was a very cool and special feeling being able to accept that honor and award in front of my family and friends. Um, I had no idea what it entailed at first. It was very random and I was kind of skeptical about it. It was a LinkedIn message is how it started. And so I got a LinkedIn message and first of all, LinkedIn might be one of my favorite platforms, like as an adult,
Yeah.
LinkedIn is where it's at. So I was surprised to see this message come through my inbox on LinkedIn. And it was like, I'd love a chance to talk to you further about being inducted into the Jewish Hall of Fame. You would be the first female professional hockey player that comes through, and it was a super interesting email, but I was kind of skeptical because I'm like, I've
This
never
is so
heard.
good to be true here. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was like, I'm Jewish. Like, I'm fully Jewish Goldberg. If that's not Jewish enough, then I don't know what is. But I was like, I'm so Jewish, and I've never heard about this, but it really intrigued me. So I was hesitant to respond back at first. They asked for like my contact information, my phone number, my email, like personal stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Personally, I don't feel comfortable sending this to you until I have a little bit more
Yeah.
information about this. So when they sent me further information, I was like, they sent me a list of all the previous inductees, and at that point, I was like, all right, this is legit. So went through with it, and I got honored in January of this year. Super great start to 2020. Obviously, 2020 is not so great anymore, but
Yeah, it went downhill from there.
yeah, but my 2020 started off really well, getting inducted into Jewish Hall of Fame. I got inducted alongside some very cool athletes as well. Jock Peterson, who is on the Dodgers right now. I got inducted alongside a few MLB players, one of them who actually won the World Series with the Red Sox a few years back. So it was just such a cool event, and I'm very grateful that I was able to receive that award.
Yeah, you've been making such a difference, and that it's great to finally see that recognised, and you've overcome so many adversities along the way. And so, like, what what kind of advice could you offer there for future and current student athletes who are maybe still competing or that are thinking about committing to a college to play sports?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that I can provide to those that are still playing, want to pursue college or whatever it may be, I think it's just have fun with the game right now, or have fun with whatever you're doing in life. Um, Life is too short, and I know that's so cliche, but life really is too short, and it is so unexpected, right? Like anything can happen at any given day to anyone. I never thought in a million years that I would be breaking both my legs playing the sport that I love. I never thought that I would be out of competition for 4 years. To then overcome those and play professional hockey against the best female players in the world. I never thought that, right? But you have to take it and enjoy it while you can, while you have that moment. So I would say just have so much fun with it. And if you do face adversity along the way, embrace it, right? I know that's going to sound really, really difficult to hear, but embrace it. Embrace that unknown, because it could end up making you into a better person at the end of the day. And I think for me, the adversity changed my whole life and perspective on everything in life. definitely made me a better person in the end. So I think just have fun with it, embrace it. Adversity is a very, very good thing in the end, because it does make you a better person. And I think challenges along the way is a really test to your character. So
Yeah, that's some great advice there, Chelsey. So thanks very much for coming on today. It's great hearing like your story and where you're at so far, and also the difference you're making in the community as well.
yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It's so good to see you again.